for those in the audience, we're trying to get the machine up and running. We have two Board of Supervisor members that's gonna be on with us electronically, so we're trying to get them up and going, so bear with us while we wanna have everything on the film as much as possible, so. We will get started, just looks like we're getting there. We're ready to go then, all right. I will open this Smyth County Board of Supervisor meeting by calling it to order. First order of business is a joint public hearing. So would you like to read the rules for?
I'll call to order the Planning Commission side of the joint public hearing as well.
Okay. Rules of public hearing. In instances where persons address the board through the chairperson, they shall limit their remarks as follows. 1, for person speaking for him or herself, or his or her immediate neighborhood, 3 minutes. 2, person speaking for an organization whose membership is representative of an entire magisterial district, 5 minutes. 3, person speaking for an organization whose membership is representative of the entire county, 10 minutes. And 4, unless approved by majority vote of the board, no action shall be taken by the board following a public hearing, and the issue shall be continued until the next regular meeting.
Given that information, we've had several people sign up, and we'll just go down the order. When you come forward, please state your name and your address.
If you don't mind, Mr.
Yeah, go
Chairman,
ahead.
you want me to read the ad?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Present the case.
Before the Smyth County Board of Supervisors and Smyth County Planning Commission, the Smyth County Board of Supervisors and the Smyth County Planning Commission will conduct a joint public hearing on Thursday, May 27th at 7 p.m. or soon after 7 p.m. as the application may be heard in the Smyth County Office Building, 121 Bagley Circle, Marion, Virginia, to consider the following application to the zoning ordinance of Smyth County, Virginia. An application from James Craig Harper for a special use permit for a service business. The property is located beside 174 Southwood Lane, Saltville, Virginia, identified as tax map number 41A-4-2 and is zoned agricultural rural. At this public hearing, subject to the rules of procedure of the Board of Supervisors and Planning Commission of Smyth County, Virginia, any person may appear and state his or her views thereon. Copies of the application, along with their maps and drawings, are on file at the Office of the County Administrator of Smyth County. Copies are also maintained by the County Zoning Administrator at the address given above and may be viewed during regular business hours, Monday through Friday. In compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, persons requiring special assistance to attend and participate in this hearing should contact Clegg Williams, ADA Coordinator at 276-706-8315 at least 48 hours prior to the hearing. Done by the order of the Board of Supervisors and Planning Commission, Sean Utt, County Administrator, and Joel Pugh, Chairman of the Planning Commission. And if acceptable, I'd like to present tonight's application. Craig Harper owns a tract of land on the corner of Valley Road and Highway 107. He is interested in locating a satellite facility of his towing business on the property. As required by our ordinance, he has applied for a special use permit. Notice of this hearing was advertised in the Smyth County News on May 15th and 22nd. Additionally, a mailing was sent to each of his adjoining property owners, and an affidavit to that effect is on file. I did not receive any comments regarding this application. While considering this case, I would like to call attention to Section 3-2.2V, which allows service businesses in the AR district by issuance of a special use permit, and Article 6, which contains provisions for special use permits. I would also like to note our comprehensive plan identifies this property as commercial/industrial on the future land use map. And that's all I have this evening. Mr. Harper is with us tonight, and at this point I'd like to invite him up and let him present his proposal. Thank you.
Pretty simple. I own a tow business. I want to expand, start a second tow business in a different zone. All I'm asking for is enough secure lot storage to store up to 8 vehicles, put up a building to secure a couple of rollbacks out of the weather, out of harm's way, whatever. And I just don't see what the big problem is. I've tried this. I run a good business, and I just, you know, when you're storing 8 cars, it's required by law that you have on-site storage when you tow. Normally, insurance companies will come pick them up within 6 to 7 days. So, you know, they rotate in and out. You may not have any for a while. You may have as many as 4 or 5 at a time. It's just, You know, it's never very long because insurance companies don't like to pay for storage. I mean, that's just a given. It's kinda out of sight, out of mind. The, whole facility is really, it's not right out on the road, on the highway. So, and as Clegg was saying, the property in y'all's long-term plans or plans, I looked at it, it was, you know, put out there that it's gonna be commercial, industrial, somewhere down the line. And I'm just commercial, and I'd like to try to get a tow business started. So, any questions?
I got one. What happens if you get over 8? You never get over 8?
Hardly ever would you ever get over 8 because the insurance company will not let them sit. If I get in a position where I've got something that's not insurance, I've got another storage facility. But I have to hold them when I tow them at an on-site secure storage area. That's what the law requires.
Alright, thank you.
What kind of fencing were you planning on the 100 by 100?
Well, I want to, that's what we want to start out, is 100 by 100. I know it ain't gonna take near that for 8-car storage. I want to tweak that as if it's approved, once I start putting cars there, to see how much room I'm gonna have to get rollbacks in and out. Probably end up being more like a 50 by 50 or less. At that point, once I determine that, then I'm planning on putting up, because I need a high chain link, putting up the chain link with the, I guess you call it, some kind of screen, I forget what you call it.
The visual barrier.
Right, and plant shrubs down the side next to Southwind.
So the building, the garage you're planning to build won't be located inside
No.
the chain link fence. It would be separate
Right,
from
separate.
that. And what kind of building were you
I want to
planning?
put a proposed steel.
And to do this, you have to have this at this location, like it has to be so close to the interstate or something like that? Is
Well, the way the county is broke up, the Virginia State Police, the county and so forth, Smyth County is broken into 3 tow zones. You've got Marion, Chilhowie, and Saltville. That is the closest to Saltville that I can be and still be in Chilhowie zone.
So you're in the Saltville zone now?
Right, I'm in Saltville
You're
zone now,
wanting to
operating have for years. Trying to expand my service area.
And will there be somebody there, Monday through Friday or 7 days a week, or how does that work?
You operate basically Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Your driver acts as basically secretary. You go back and forth between 2. Like I would be at one facility and he'd be I'd have a driver at the other, whichever's available to release vehicles, whatever, you just go to that.
Is it zoned AR or commercial?
AR, agricultural
Yep.
rural.
Yeah, you said commercial, and then it goes on the future.
No, that's in the long-term plan that y'all put forth.
That's part of the comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's identified as commercial/industrial in the comprehensive plan.
Who set that comprehensive plan aside? I haven't seen it. Who made that?
Well, ultimately, the board approved it. It was a recommendation by the planning commission.
Got any idea when it's going in effect?
The comprehensive plan, that's been in effect for many years.
So it was approved before our time.
Or it would change?
Well, I think it was last changed,
2010, I think, or something like that, wasn't it, for that area?
no, they have, so every 5 years it has to be, Joe, you may remember the last time we looked at it, but there were no substantial changes the last time. The last time we dealt with it is when we dealt with the VDOT changes. We added the VDOT changes for the roundabouts.
The road names.
Road names.
To pick up all the road names in the county.
And to pick up all the road names. So that's the last time the comprehensive plan was adopted by the board.
And it's basically, the comprehensive plan it's identified that tract of land, I guess the 107, the tracks right off of the 107 as potential for possible future commercial use.
That's what I was getting at. Do we have any idea when that future is?
No, that's,
They
so
don't
the
have a
future land
date or
use map is basically the planning commission's and board's vision for Smith County 5 years down the road.
5 years.
Right.
Or 25 or 100.
Indefinitely.
Yes, you're just looking at, most of,
Possibilities.
right, and most of
The
what I.
potential is what I took it to be.
And most of what I can remember is we've, and I don't know if it was done before my time or not, but most of it borders 81, your towns, and I guess they must have looked at 107 being a thoroughfare from Chilhowie to Saltville, and some of that, as a main strip.
A little bit of 16.
And you said 8, is that in the permit that it would be no more than 8? Is that the maximum at one time?
That's all I'm asking for,
Maybe
yeah. Cause I doubt ever seeing even getting close to 8, to be
that
honest.
could be put in there saying this is the cap.
Yeah.
8 at one time.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Do you have to have the building, the chain link fence, do you have to have all that set before you can get the permit for the tow zone?
No, no.
You don't?
I have to have a secure lock, which I've already got 100 by 100 fenced. I just have to extend the top of the fence up, because it's only like 4 foot now. Have to go another couple of foot with barbed wire to call it secure storage for right now.
What about the building? How soon does it have to be?
It don't. See, I don't even have to have a building, all I have to have is an office. So, in reality, an office is an outbuilding.
But you're gonna put a bigger building.
Right, I want some, because I want to secure my rollbacks. I don't want to leave them sitting out in the weather, don't want potential glass breakage, chains, anything getting stolen off of them.
Then you said 100 by 100 block maybe for your 8 vehicles, maybe less than that.
Yeah,
Is
because
there
I've already
any way
got
you
this
could put
fence, I'd like
building-
to tweak, I'd like to have the opportunity to tweak it and try to bring it down to, I may even get down as much as a 30 by 40, because I don't want to pay for no more chain link than anybody else would want to.
Yeah, could you position that building to where when you park those cars that you would hide them from view, you 8 vehicles?
Yeah.
Behind the building?
I can move the building location over to beside the storage. I mean, that's no big deal.
Well, I'm just bringing up
Yeah.
things for thought
Right.
here,
Yeah, if we if we approve 100 by 100 though, can he come in and build a 50 by 50 and meet the qualifications, what we just approved?
I mean, generally you can do less, you can't do more.
Okay.
Where does this, if it was rezoned, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna ask a
Go ahead.
question. If it was rezoned commercial like the comprehensive plan, which may or may not come, but, I mean, where would this storage, how would it fall? Vessel?
It would be allowed by right if it was rezoned commercial. And that was an option that we discussed, that he, at the time anyway, wanted to keep it agriculture rural and just apply for this one particular use to be approved.
So how far does, now this comprehensive plan, in which we may all be dead when it comes around, how far up of 107 does it go?
I actually border 107.
No.
You're asking
Talking
about
about
the strip of land that was identified as commercial and industrial.
Yeah.
How, can we pull up the website? We may be able to get it on the screen, but, so effectively, I think like Joel was describing, when the future land use map was developed, at that time, I think we had a handful of planning commissioners, several members of the public, and a couple board members on the committee. We took a look at the county as a whole. We looked at where water lines were, where sewer lines were, where we had major thoroughfares and intersections. And then we tried to use, property lines or roads or railroads or, divides as far as topography as sort of our barrier. For that area, I'm gonna estimate 100, 150, maybe 200 feet
Off of
on each
107.
side of 107 as commercial / industrial.
Are you still wanting to use the same interest, or would you be willing to bring one in off of 107?
I spoke with the state last time we got into this, and they were a little iffy about coming in off 107 because of the speed limit on 107. They said may have to look at putting a turn lane in if we come off 107. Once you cut on Valley Road, I've got frontage on Valley Road as well, which I could come in on.
Yeah, the only bad thing I hate about that's about as dangerous as
Yep.
anything. You round that corner and there's a tow truck sitting there and those school buses gotta get there and. I
Well,
get what
see,
you want.
that's something else we looked at too when I started all this, is there is a school bus stop there. So people are pretty much used to, you know, when you cut in on Valley Road, everybody pretty much knows the,
Would you be willing to come in off of 107?
yeah, if the state would permit it.
Right now, you got the entrance off of the South Woodlawn Road or
Right.
whatever, Wood Lane.
Which
Right.
is a gravel right away.
Right.
Right.
Well, there's some houses up through there too, though.
Have they seen that?
Yeah, they should. Yeah, it's up on the
Yeah, so
screen.
if you look at your monitors, you'll see 107, and the intersection of Valley Road.
Right here.
Now, I'm colorblind, I'm gonna call that pink, don't make fun of me.
It looks pink.
But that is what is identified as commercial and industrial on the future land use map in the comp plan.
All righty. Any other questions for Mr. Hartman?
Mr. Harper, I'm gonna ask you something straight up. Would you still be in the hog business if you got this permit?
No, I have no need to be in the hog business. Well, I will be, but it'll be on Cedar Branch.
It won't be there.
No.
Had to ask. Thank
You got the answer.
you. What I want.
This strip of land, on the map here, it's dotted. But you say you own over 2107?
Yeah,
What's this strip?
I guess that's state right away through there.
Okay.
That would be my assumption.
But you still
And
own
it actually, where it's dotted there is not correct. It comes way a lot closer to 107.
This comes this way.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
It actually corners.
Cause it looks like your road.
But there, where Valley, can I show you?
Yeah, look on the screen, maybe I'll see.
Well, I can explain to Tim here a lot easier. It actually comes to right here in the corners, and it turns again, and comes out here.
Which makes sense, cause the road, I couldn't
Well,
figure
see, this is road just coming up on top of the property, but, the state has so much right of way, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
But I don't know why it's drew that way, cause it don't lay that way. I mean, I could've brought the survey map. So I've done had it all surveyed.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harper, I've heard Mr. Stevenson mention there might be an alternate plan of putting hogs there. Is that right?
Oh, I'm raising hogs there now.
You are?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many hogs do you have there?
Right now, I've got 10. I had, 20 last summer, I think. And I have fenced a little bit more, because I'm gonna have to raise hogs, I'm gonna have to raise enough to make the money to pay for the land.
So what's the maximum number would you anticipate?
Probably somewhere between 50 and 100.
Thank you.
That's if you don't get the,
Yeah, because like I say, I'm gonna make money off the property one way or the other.
you ain't
Either
gonna do
tow
both.
business or raising hogs. That's the only things I know how to do.
What it was, ma'am, Judy, Judy, I forgot your last name. You remember when he was a year going by? He didn't get his permit,
Right.
so you made him a hog farm,
Okay.
which he was totally legal
Yep.
by AR.
All right, any other question, any other more questions for Mr. Harper?
If you back that garage up, you could still have road access on both sides for, some other kind of potential development or whatever at some point. I'm just looking
Yeah.
down the road or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I could back it up to where the storage lot is and leave the front of it open for
Yeah.
something somewhere down the road. Something that if it ever changed through there.
The business there across from the swimming pool there, down here in town, kind of comes to mind.
Yeah.
Kind of have and then have the frontage available for other uses or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna jump in an open conversation here, and the reason I asked the question, if you come off of 107, is my memory's not good, but when you go throwing in comprehensive plans and commercial. And, you know, if this is gonna happen, I'd rather see an entrance off 107 personally. And the fact that the state says it's not good, well, we're gonna zone it there and place commercial. You're gonna be coming off 107 everywhere you grow. You come off at Rita's, you come off at Midway, you come off at the store. The problem here, I think, and homeowners ain't even spoke, and I ain't saying this is going, I'm just throwing out possibilities. Problem here, as the gravel right of way that several houses use, and I think you're gonna hear them say they're worried about traffic if it happens.
Well, can I say something about that?
1 second. You know, with the entrance off of 107, that eliminates that. And you know, I don't know, they're gonna weigh in here a little bit, but if you're at 8 cars and got a different entrance, that's something that may intrigue the people that lives there. I'm throwing stuff out there. And if Mr. Harper ain't gonna raise out no more hogs and you only got 8 cars, you need to think about what your options are. I didn't know our comprehensive plan was commercial. It is. So, you know, if we're going commercial, you're gonna put in a commercial business, you know, I think you ought to have a commercial entrance off of 107. Now you talk.
Okay, Southwood is actually a 60-foot right-of-way. Right now, there's approximately 30 feet of it is all that's being used. So there's potential for another 30 foot that can be opened up, and it would cut right in. I mean, I could run it right up in my property, it wouldn't even be on the gravel road that exists. So I looked at that.
You're saying off of Valley Road, come straight into your property from Valley Road?
Yeah, because it's actually a 60-foot right-of-way is what it is that goes up through there. Southwood is. And like I say, right now, there's roughly 30 feet of it being utilized.
But the citizens living up in there keeps up that road, right?
Yeah.
Southwood.
Yeah, because before I bought it, I went to Mr. Woodard and asked him who kept it up, and he said just everybody, you know, kind of chips in. I think Mr. Densmore got a tractor, he scrapes it. Because I let it be known, if I got this to start with, that I wanted to pay my fair share on gravel, whatever upkeep was on the road.
Well, that's what I was getting at. You could join in on the upkeep of it.
I had even mentioned once, I think when we was here before, that if it would turn into long-term usage as opposed to coming straight off the Valley Road or something, I'd be even willing to look at paving up to where you cut off of Southwood onto my property. It's already paved from the top down pretty good piece, so that would leave very little between that pavement and what they've already got for upkeep, really.
You could put that in the stipulation too.
That's a terrible entrance there where it's located. They just ain't much sight. Once you turn off 107, they just not a whole lot of sight before you get.
Well, see, that's everybody's misconception with this business, is chances of you being in and out there over 2 or 3 times in a day would be slim. It's not like you're gonna be in and out there a dozen times a day. Because there at my house, where I operate now, when I go out in the rollback, there's a lot of days I don't even go back home till after the afternoon to park it. Most of my business is towing from point A to point B, which is breakdowns. You pick up somebody with a flat tire, their car's broke down, you take it to a garage and drop it. You don't bring it to your facility. The only thing you bring to your facility is abandoned and wrecks and DUIs.
May I ask one more question, Ron?
Go ahead.
So, where Midway Tire used to be, or Jimmy, whoever,
Hey.
is he in the same business you are?
He's in the tow business.
So, there's 20 or 30 cars sitting there. Did they come from towing?
I don't know where Jimmy's accumulated all that.
I mean, but there is 20
Yeah.
or 30 cars.
Yeah, he's brought them in from everywhere, it seems
It looks
like.
like a junk
See,
yard.
Conway's the same way. If you go up there behind Conway's building, he's got a pile of them in there too. Most of the time, what they're doing is they're holding them for parts because they have garages. I don't have a garage.
But he's got the towing bid.
Yeah, he's got, well, I'm not even sure, I guess he's still towing. Let me rephrase that.
Well, it's far exceeded the towing business and turned into a junkyard, in my opinion.
Well, there you go. He's got a garage, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
how hard is it to get rid of a towed car if the insurance doesn't pay and all that stuff?
If they have full coverage insurance, there's no choice but to pay you for it. Because what they call insurance dumping is illegal in the state of Virginia. In other words, if I say it's $1,000 tow bill on it, the insurance company can't say, well, you keep it, we're not gonna pay you that. That's illegal in the state of Virginia. You get these that don't have insurance, you hold them for a few days. If they don't come and get them, I've got another facility to move them to after that. Because you do, I ain't gonna lie about it, you get a lot of these meth heads and stuff with no license, hot tags and all that. And if they don't come pick them up, you have to hang on to them for a minimum of 30 days to even crush them. But like I say, I have no problem relocating them to a different facility after that. And the only reason you hold anything for 30 days per the law is they will do a 30-day impound sometimes on the car. I think I've had one 30-day impound in the past maybe 18 months.
Any other questions for Mr. Harper? Hearing none, we'll talk to listen to the citizens now.
Thank you.
Mr. Jim Carter, come forward, give you a name and address, please.
Thank you. My name's Jim Carter, and I live at 130 Valley Road. I'm right across from Mr. Harper. So, one of the things that I want to object to this is that he's going to put in a facility that's going to have junk cars. Now, when we built our house 41 years ago, I don't think we envisioned that we were going to be sitting here in retirement age next to a junkyard. It's one of the things that we have our value in our house, and this is something not going to add value to our house. Now, if you all would want somebody to put a junkyard beside you, I'd say, that would be your option. But for me, and my belief on this is that it will not do anything for my property value. How many hogs he puts on it's agriculture, so I'm sure he can put as many hogs as he wants. But like I said, I'm right across the road. I'm right next to him. We're just joining neighbors right there. That to me is not a good situation either. If you ask me which I'd rather have neither one. But I will say I do object to putting a junkyard there. Now maybe that's the wrong word for it, but to me that's what you're saying. Disabled car, they can't move, the insurance is not going to get them. That's where he's going to store them. So that doesn't sound good for us. Doesn't sound good for us as property owners. We've lived there 41 years. 41 years. And the plan on 107, I don't know if you're going to develop 107. Like I said, I've lived in Smyth County all my life too, so I haven't seen anything added to 107 besides a storage lot over in front of the Stokeses. So it's the only business I know that's ever went in there. So extra besides the couple of service stations.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Carter. You'd rather have the hogs there as the storage for wrecked vehicles?
Sure.
It's gonna be one of the two.
Put 100 hogs, put 1,000 hogs in there. When we built our house, that's one of the things we talked about, wasn't it, honey? And boy, we hope we get to retirement age and somebody puts a hog lot in here or a junkyard. That's what we're looking forward to. But that's where we've lived in Smyth County all of our lives. So, and we've tried to keep our property up, just like our neighbors have kept their property up. And like I said, Alan keeps the road up and keeps it in good shape. And that's about all I got to say, I guess.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dottie Carter.
I think Jim said it all. But my name's Dottie Carter, and I live at 130 Valley Road. The gravelled road, it's a one-lane road that separates our property from Mr. Harper's property. And all due respect, he said it's out of sight, out of mind, but it's not out of my sight, and it's not out of my mind. The hog lot, the odor, the stuff there has been vehicles brought in there and left already. And there's one old truck that's been there, I don't know how long, Mr. Harper?
About
It's been there
4 weeks, 5 weeks.
It's been stored
Farm
there.
truck.
Hasn't moved or anything. And we're already looking at a mess, at a junkyard. And like Jim said, we've worked all of our life and tried to keep that up. And we have grandchildren that we hope to pass our property to. But I would vote no for any business being in that area. So yeah, bring on the hogs. Just don't put a business in there. The road's awful. The school children get on the bus there. It is a dangerous place to make a turn to go up that road. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Alan Dinsmore.
Hey, I'm Alan. I live at very back, I guess. I'm the farthest one back. We don't want no junkyard. I'm fine with livestock. I've got livestock myself. He wants to add 30 more foot. That's still not going to control the traffic. It's a very dangerous place. I've seen cars coming there sideways when the kids are getting on the bus. Seriously. It's a blind spot. You can't see nothing. It's really bad. But, Coach Carter, he's got the worst view of all. He keeps his yard mowed 3 times a week, I think. So, it's not reasonable. Trash. We got trash blowing up the driveway now. Bread bags. Mike's wife picks up bread bags all week. Or trash blowing where they feed the hogs. I just don't think it'd be a good idea.
How long have you lived there, you see?
17 years. We got good neighbors. The best in the world.
What's been the upkeep on the road? Y'all divide it like it's said?
I usually scrape it. Me and them, they done a hill. We had a washout, and they went through. They paved their upper hills, and then they went on and done the hillside that washed out real bad. We still got a little bit to do at the bottom, but that's about it.
The reason I asked you, I know that there's a previous owner of the right of way, but a lot of times people agree to do their part.
Oh yeah, we all chip in. They've offered to pay me. It's ours. We live there. We gotta maintain it and keep it pretty. Junkyard just ain't gonna do it.
Any more questions? Thank you. Michael Morgan.
My name is Michael Morgan. I live at 175 Southwood Lane. I live at the tallest up on the top. I grew up here in Rich Valley. Spent 22 years in the Air Force and retired. I've been to 47 countries. I've never seen a place on the face of this planet more beautiful than where we live. And we all are blessed to live in these valleys and in these mountains. Now, Craig, I've known Craig all my life. We grew up together. And it would be nothing better. I would love to say, nothing better than me to agree with him on this, so he could do good as a businessman. But for this, I can't. From where I like to sit and watch over, I look over that property. And he can't build fence high enough to cover what I could see. Rich Valley is an agriculture area, and I think I would like to see it stay that way. The road access, if you even entertain the idea of doing this, you have to look at the road access, or there will be people killed there. There's already been people killed at that intersection, and really you should address that irregardless of what this group is happening. But like I said, I would love to be able to say yes to the man and his business, but for this particular property in these particular circumstances, I can't do that. A farm property is hogs. If you wanted to put calves in there, is goats. That's what this property is for, I think. Yeah. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Nanine Woodard.
I'm Nanine Woodward, and I live at 174 Southwood. And I just want to say, I love Smyth County. You don't teach in Smyth County for 34 years and still be an active substitute and not love Smyth County. And I love my home. I love Rich Valley. I love the valley, the mountains. And what Mr. Harper proposes is just not what I envision for our particular area. We are agricultural, and that's why the pigs, whatever. I love animals. I don't mind the pigs. He already has a couple of goats, and I can deal with that. And just a minute ago, you had a different view up there of our area, and it showed our houses with the views. Is there any way that could be? No, it was another one that you had too. It was closer up, and it showed our house.
That's your house.
Yes, and if you look where my house is, and you look to see where he's going to put the business, when those trees lose their leaves, like Mr. Morgan, there's no fence big enough, tall enough, that I would not see that. I mean, his property comes practically all the way up to ours. And I know he's probably going to, if he's turned down, I know he's going to put pigs in there, hogs in there, but I can deal. I can deal with that. And we have lived there for 39 years, and we keep our yard mowed, weed-eated, just like our neighbors. And what we'll have is nowhere near that. Nothing near that. And he talked about widening the road, and it is a 60-foot but I looked at our whatever deed from Mr. Morgan that we bought our land for, 30 feet on one side and 30 feet on the other side is set aside for utility. We already have utility, I don't know what they're called, Michael, what are they called? Appalachia Power?
The water, underground water lines, underground, what do you call it, telephone lines?
Right, is that the?
Which
the
for us is internet, cause we don't get cable.
Is that the poles that are there in front of our yard?
Yes.
Okay,
Those-
we
those
already
are
have,
telephone.
okay, we have 3 of those already in that area. And that means that ours is limited, just like if you go straight down the road to Mr. Harper's, his also would be limited. And the other thing is, when Mr. Harper said that he would have, that he can only keep 8 vehicles at a time, or 20, I don't understand how he could do that, or he has to maintain that, or he would maintain that at this property when he does not maintain that at his other property. If you were to go to his other property, you would see, I would not even guess to say how many vehicles. And they are not out of sight. They are there for the people that live down his other property. They see it every day. And we're just asking that, as you're no different than we are, you're property owners, you're homeowners, and I know that you love your property, your home, your yard as much as we do. And we're just asking that our little community be allowed not to have to look at what he's wanting to do. Like I said, I love Rich Valley. I love the valley. I think it's beautiful. There's no other place as pretty. And I would just like to see it kept that way. And
Before you go, how much elevation difference you say it is from your house to his lot? It don't show it on here. I just want people to be aware of the elevation difference.
It's really high.
Pretty
tall.
It's not like you're sitting flat. You're
oh no, now even with the leaves on the trees, when I'm on my front deck, I can see portions of the hog lot. I can already see the hog lot. And that's with the leaves. So, like I said, in this past fall and this past winter, with the leaves gone, it was just it's in our full view.
How much was it?
120 feet, vertical feet difference.
Vertical.
Vertical.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. One final one, Bill Woodard.
I'm Bill Woodward, Neen's husband, at 174 Southwood Lane. You know, just, I concur with everything that's been said by my neighbors. You know, I'd soon have the hog lot as anything, but I want to tell you something. If Mr. Harper's proposed what he says, and if you people approve it, it ought to be in writing what he can and can't do. If it's 8 vehicles, it ought to be 8 vehicles. Anything over that, I don't know what you can do. You need to do something about it, but he ought to be binded for what he's saying to protect us. That's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else here that wishes to speak, didn't sign up? Now's your chance to comment.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Would it be okay if I did, since that's my district?
Go right ahead.
You know, I like Mr. Harper. I don't have no problems with him. I understand somebody trying to make a living, even though he did call me a troublemaker after the last meeting. I don't think he meant it, but I get these people. I know every one of them. They dedicated their lives to Smyth County. And basically all they have is their house. That's their mansion. That's what they live for. They don't own big farms, they go home, they take care of their place. You know, I understand where they're coming from, and I hate it for Mr. Harper, but I support these people. If it's gonna be commercial down the road, then it's commercial and there's nothing nobody can do about it, but down the road, they ain't here yet. So, you know, I'm totally against special use permits because this is where it puts us. But Rich Valley is the prettiest place you'll ever go. And I can understand people wanting to keep it that way. So I hope the planning commission thinks about that. If this was your place, where would you stand? What would you do? It's tough for the planning commission, it's tough for the board. Cause I like the buddy, I ain't got a thing against him. And,
I got a proposal. I've got plenty of neighbors, y'all wanna get together and buy me out, you're more than welcome to it. Y'all's all offered it before I bought it. Each and every one of you's
At a
was
higher
offered it.
price.
At a much higher
Much
price.
higher price.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments?
thank you, Charlie.
And if not, I'm gonna close the public hearing, the county board of supervisors part of the public hearing.
So, yeah, close your portion of the public hearing, and then let's recess for 5 minutes for planning.
We'll call it recess, the planning commission part of the meeting. We'll reconvene when the board is through with their meeting.
So for everybody here, real quick, the board still has an item on the agenda to deal with tonight, and they're gonna adjourn and go home. The planning commission will reconvene, and they're gonna deliberate tonight's request and come up with a recommendation and forward to the board. So it's still a public meeting, you're welcome to stick around, but it'll be about 5 minutes before it's debated.
You wanna give a chance to clear out?
We need to leave too.
No, it's public meeting, you sit right there. Yeah, good luck with it.
One store like I didn't understand about when we put the hills, weren't they talking about the hills? So where are you gonna put the cars? You gonna put them up there?
Joe.
That's only 4 years ago.
As soon as they get through. It's doing fairly well, I think. No, not since the COVID hit, I haven't had any. I've been thinking of starting back up on school, haven't had any yet, so. I feel like people understand now, or feel that war's going on. They don't need to come and listen. They feel like we're more open boards. At least I hope that's the case. Just a little bit. We do our business out here, not in the back room. I let them speak as much as I can. I think they need to get titled today. Yeah, you know, they're taxpayers, once in a lifetime, they probably have something they're really concerned about. Let him talk. Yeah. Let's pay these two bills and then y'all can talk. Let's pay these two bills and y'all can talk.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'll call our meeting back to order. Ask him to step out the hallway. All right, Sean.
Okay.
You can have the floor now.
Thank you, sir. I'll just be really brief. We just have two supplemental appropriations to consider tonight. The first one with general fund, the town of Saltville, the first payment toward the approval from last meeting, $40,000 to appropriate out of the general fund, out of the capital improvements portion of the board. I'm assuming since we do these as separate votes during the normal meetings, you'd rather do these as two separate.
Right. Do we have a, I guess we need a motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're going to do a roll call vote, so I'll start out with,
Mr. Atkins?
yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Dr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Ms. Wyatt?
Yes.
Ms. Steele's absent. Mr. Call?
Yes.
All right, 6,
Okay.
0 and 1.
And the next project is the Back of the Dragon Overlook project. We have a payment request that came in that was lost in the shuffle, so I kind of feel bad that the contractor's been waiting on it for about, it's not our fault, but he's been waiting on it for about 60 days, so I'd like to request that. That's $35,950. That'll be coming out of Fund 502, the capital improvement projects. And it's grant funded, so it's in and out.
Somebody else gonna have to make that motion besides me. I was not for that.
I don't like to, but I will.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Seconded.
Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
No.
Dr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Ms. Wyatt?
Yes.
Ms. Steele's absent. Mr. Call?
Yes.
Thank you.
5,
That's all I
1
have.
and 1. All righty, we thank you. As far as I know, that's all I have on my agenda, so I'll close the meeting. I don't know of anything else. We'll turn it over to the rest of the group. Drive careful.